Okay, 8.5 is about variation. We're going to do direct variation, inverse variation, and joint variation. Well, I guess there's a combined variation, which is the combination, go figure, of direct and inverse. It's going to work through a couple of examples. There's basically two ways to do all of these problems. Definition of direct variation: if y varies directly as x, there is some non-zero constant k such that y equals k times x. K is called the constant of variation. If you think that k, y equals kx, looks like y equals mx from y equals mx plus b, then you are correct. For direct variation, the k is filling the role of the slope. And if it's varying directly, it's going through the origin of 0, 0, so thus we have the same idea. So there's two ways I said you could do this. So if you know that it varies directly and they told you that, you immediately have to start with introducing this variable k. It says when y is 16, then x is 4. And we can solve this by dividing by 4, and k is 4. So the first method is to solve for k. Now reintroduce your k that you found for this problem and solve for x, because when y is 20 we're looking for x. Divide by 4. This is pretty elementary, and I get the answer is 5. Now the second way to do these problems is to identify the fact that for each individual problem the value of k is going to be the same. So if I solve for k, y over x equals k. Now the y over x will be the same for the original problem, y over x. So if I do 16 over 4, it's the same for the second problem, which has a y of 20, and x is what we're looking for. So this is the value of k. You can see the value of k. It's right here. It's this. And we're setting that equal to the 20 over x. So you can solve these as proportions. I find that people that are addicted to algebra actually prefer to do this method because it's kind of how we've been doing things for the last 5 years of your life. But when you look at it this way, how do we cross multiply? X is equal to 4 times 20 divided by 16. That's 80 divided by 16. X is equal to 5. And it's like you don't even really need the step in between. It goes that fast. Okay? So we'll take a look at a few examples like that, but you can do I like to look at this as the algebraic method, and I like to look at this as the proportion method. The proportion method is actually faster, but you can do them either way, and I'll do these first few examples both ways. Just make note, direct variation means multiplication times k, so we multiply. Joint variation means more than one multiplication. So now we have joint with x and z. There's two things that are being multiplied. So if I was going to solve joint variation by the proportion method, I would divide both sides by x and z, and I'd get y over xz, which is how we would use this to set up your proportion then. Y varies jointly as x and z when y is 10. Y is 10 when x is 2 and z is 4. Find y when x is 4 and z is 3. So if I'm a good little soldier doing it algebraically, I have y equals kxz. Again, k will be in every problem, and it will change from problem to problem, which is why it's called the constant of variation. And I put in a 10. and I put in an x, and I put in the z. Those are the things that were given to me. I'll divide by 8. K is 5/4. I'll go back, find y. I know k when x is 4 and z is 3, y is 15. My answer is 15. Proportion method tells me that I could rewrite this as k equals y over xz. And now I can use y over xz for both of them because they're both equal to k. So I get 10 over 2, 4 equals y over 4, 3. Cross multiplication tells me 120 divided by 8 is 15. Algebraic method, proportion method, either way you get the same answer. Inverse variation means we are going to divide by the value k. You can see over here y equals k over x. I really like these with the other method because k is equal to x times y when I multiply it. So if I was going to do, it says y varies inversely with x, so you're dividing by your value. Put in a 12, put in a 10, multiply both sides by 10, plug in your new k and your new 15, new x over here. Y equals 120 divided by 15, which is 8. Other method, since k, where are we? Since k, here, since k equals x times y, k equals x times y, I can go, they're both equal to the same k, so I can go 10, 12 equals y, 15. They're both equal to the same k, so they have to be equal to each other. Boom, boom, 8. Life is grand. Good stuff. Good. Okay, next we're going to do combined variation. Y varies in combination with x and z, so there's going to be, something's going to be multiplication, something's going to be division, so you got to be careful with that. So this one says, okay, I got the pen to work. Okay, A varies directly with B and A varies inversely with C. This is not two separate problems. It says A direct means multiplication by the value of B by K, B times K, and then divided by C. So the direct means multiplication and the inverse means division. Okay, so that's what we're looking for here. So if you're going to find B when A is 10 and C is -5, then the first thing we need to do is figure out what K is, if we're going to do that method. So we can do that by taking A is -2, C is 3, B is 4. I'm going to plug those in. A is -2, looking for K, B is 4, and C is 3. So when I multiply by 3/4, I get -3/2 is K. I will use that K. Now I'm going to find B. I will use my K, plugging in -3/2. I'm looking for B. It says C is -5, and it says A was 10. So all I did was put the 10 in here and the -3/2 in there. I'm looking for B, and I know C is -5. Multiply by -5, and I get -50 equals -3/2 times B. Multiply by -2/3, -2/3, and I get 100/3. B is 100/3. I think I did all that correctly. 100/3 would be 33 1/3. If I was going to do this one the other method, which I think this is actually easier, then when I'm going to multiply by C over B and C over B. So I'm going to have K equals AC over B. So again, we're going to take those first given pieces of information when A was -2, C was 3, over B was 4. I'm going to set that equal to A was 10. This is this other stuff now. C was -5, and over B, which is what we're looking for. So this was this given info for when A is 2, C is 3, B was 4. And then this was when A is 10, C is -5, B is what we're looking for. And now when I cross multiply, I believe that's B equals -200 divided by -6, which is +100/3. And you get the right answer. So that actually goes a little bit quicker, especially with these joint ones. The volume of a gas varies inversely with pressure, so it's inverse variation, so volume equals K over P. Again, I would do K equals P times V. It says if 80 cubic centimeters is the V and P is 2,000, find V when P is 320, and we're looking for V. So I would do something like this, and then I would get out my trusty calculator, which I don't have, so that's 1/4, and that's 50, and that's 1. V is 50. Whoops, 50. 50 what? Cubic centimeters. So there you go. You got your variation problems.